How's it going, everybody? It's Young here with a Death Stranding news update. The following information comes directly from the Death Stranding panel at PlayStation Experience 2016, where Kojima talked about the game engine that powers his new game, Decima. I've gone ahead and compiled all of the important bits of information in this one video. There's a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. Now, before they even got to the topic of Decima, Kojima began by talking a bit about Guillermo Del Toro's involvement in the project. When asked whether Guillermo will be an actor in the game or somehow be involved behind the scenes, Kojima replied that what they did was 3D scan Guillermo Del Toro into the game in various clothes and facial expressions to create a 3D blueprint of his character model for another actor to bring to life. So unlike Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen, who will be doing the full performance capture for their respective characters, Guillermo Del Toro's character will be acted and voiced by someone else, and their performance will be transposed into Guillermo's character model. So it's kind of a cool middle ground. This also explains why Guillermo's name wasn't featured on the cast list at the end of the trailer. As for why Guillermo won't be doing his own acting, Kojima explained that Guillermo has his own projects to worry about, and Kojima didn't want to take too much time off of him. Kojima was then asked by the host Jeff Keighley if there would be female characters in Death Stranding, to which Kojima responded with a resounding yes, although he wasn't ready to talk about it yet. The topic then shifted to Mads Mikkelsen's character, who was recently announced in the latest Death Stranding trailer. When Jeff asked Kojima about the kind of role Mads' character would play in the game, Kojima essentially responded that whereas Norman Reedus will be the protagonist and player character, Mads will be the game's overall rival, antagonist, and enemy. So there you go, Norman versus Mads in Death Stranding. Looking forward to seeing how that unfolds. Jeff Keighley then asked Kojima about some of the recent rumors and theories out there right now, particularly the one in which Death Stranding's two trailers might be occurring in parallel to each other in different worlds. Kojima didn't provide a concrete answer, but he did say that there are definitely hints found in both trailers, and hopes people will play the meta game of discussing, theorizing, and thinking about these kinds of things. Oh, we'll play, Kojima. We'll fucking play. Alright, so with that out of the way, the panel finally dived into the Decima game engine. They very quickly revealed that the technology came from renowned game studio Guerrilla Games, which is exactly what industry insider Shinobi602 said it would be, so kudos to him. Apparently, this partnership began when Kojima went on the technology tour with Mark Cerny shortly after the foundation of the new Kojima Productions, with Kojima having no choice but to leave his Fox Engine technology behind with his former employer, #FuckKonami. Mark essentially took Kojima on a quest to find him the right people and technology. One of the studios that they visited along the way was none other than Guerrilla Games, and when Kojima arrived, something incredible happened. Apparently, one of the first things that they did was present Kojima with a box containing the source code of Guerrilla Games' engine, literally their greatest treasure and the keys to the kingdom laid bare without hesitation. That's amazing. In that moment, Kojima knew that there was something very special about Guerrilla Games. There was also the fact that Guerrilla's game engine was very capable and had the prowess to realize Kojima's vision. So at its core, Decima is Guerrilla's game engine, finally given a name. It's the same one they've been using over the last 2 decades, which they've improved with each new generation of consoles and with new technology. And it's also the very same engine that Horizon Zero Dawn is using. But ever since their collaboration with Kojima began, Decima has become much more than that. While this relationship started out as essentially a donation from Guerrilla, it eventually evolved into a much deeper collaboration. Kojima Productions and Guerrilla Games are now actually working on the game engine together, passing it back and forth, making improvements and adjustments, and essentially co-developing the engine together to benefit each other and to take game development to the next level. For Kojima in particular, they worked to make some improvements and adjustments to the engine to better match the more photorealistic graphics of Death Stranding, as the engine was originally tailored for Horizon's stylized art direction. The physics-based lighting was particularly important to Kojima. To showcase what they managed to accomplish with the Decima engine, Kojima presented a meeting room image that was rendered on the Decima engine. If this seems familiar to you, that's because Kojima did something very similar with the Fox engine to determine how accurate their physics-based lighting was. These meeting room renders are essentially used as a reference for lighting and various other aspects of graphics. After making the adjustments needed for Death Stranding, Kojima then passed the engine back to Guerrilla, providing improvements that benefit them as well, particularly things like cinematics, which Kojima's team specializes on. And it's this really cool collaborative process that is truly unprecedented. According to Mark Cerny, PS4 lead architect and Death Stranding technical producer, Kojima Productions and Guerrilla Games are working in the same codebase in a way that you can't discern which part of the code is Koji Pro's and which one is Guerrilla's, although the bulk of it is still Guerrilla's, of course. But this is something that he's apparently never seen before. Their collaboration even extends as far as having a small satellite studio of Kojima Productions within Guerrilla Games' headquarters in Amsterdam, so that the two teams can be in constant communication, and the satellite studio is now known as Kojima Productions Amsterdam. One last thing I would like to talk about from the panel are a few interesting subtle hints that Kojima provided regarding the engine. Something I noticed is that Kojima kept mentioning how appropriate the Decima engine is for an open world game. I'm thinking that this might be Kojima further hinting that Death Stranding will feature open world elements, something that he has hinted at previously, by the way. Finally, something that Kojima said after showcasing the meeting room reference images is that the final product of Death Stranding will actually look much better than what's been shown in the real-time trailers. Wow, that's a bold statement. I mean, the game already looks better than just about anything I have ever seen in terms of graphical fidelity, especially when you consider that all of the trailers we've seen do in fact run in real time on PlayStation 4. So if Kojima and Guerrilla can pull this off, this will be one hell of a technical marvel. So that about concludes all the information that yielded from Kojima's PSX 2016 Death Stranding panel. I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below what you think about Kojima's partnership with Guerrilla, and to be further updated on all things Death Stranding, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!